Okay, good afternoon. It's actually a late afternoon, May 28th, 2021. It's about 5:30 back at the Swan Drama Pond. The female Mute Swan is right ahead, and don't have any view of a cygnet right now. The cygnets might be like in the grass. I just got here. The male Mute Swan is right out there and the trumpeter is further out. And looking at the female swan, the Mute Swan with my binoculars, like her back feathers, like the feathers in the back are pretty like roughed up, you could say. So I'm sure something that has something to do with the recent attacks by the trumpeters on her. But yeah, I just arrived. The weather is like really like cold. It's like 45 degrees. The wind chill makes it feel like in the mid 30s. We had some rain, which was pretty good. I mean, it rained like last night into earlier this afternoon. So it looks like my time lapse is still set up. I'm not sure. Hopefully it's still running. But saw more swallows just a few minutes ago too. Saw about 10 of them out there, more than 10. But yeah, interesting situation. We'll see what happens. Thank you for watching. I came to the south end of the pond. The two cygnets are still alive. They're to the right of mom out there. She's right at the northeast side of the pond. We got the male trumpeter and the male Mute Swan are in the middle of the pond. And the female, she's sitting on her nest. We got probably over 20 swallows. They must come out for the cold weather. Nice to see the swallows come back, but I can do without this cold weather. Then it's probably hard to see on the camera, but right to the east there's like a family of Mersegangers. I believe they're common Mersegangers, or excuse me, hooded Mersegangers. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't want to go over by where the mama Mute Swan is right now, because my time-lapse camera is right around in that area to the right by the little hill. So I don't want to disturb the mama swan right now. I'm going to do a little exercise. Plus we'll have to see what the trumpeter swan does. Not supposed to rain tonight or tomorrow. I think the next chance of rain is like 3 days away, so it's supposed to get warmer for the holiday weekend, Memorial Day. And today is Friday night. The trumpeter is heading back to the island. He spent a little time in the woods there in the middle of the pond. Looks like he's going to the west side of the island there. Male Mute Swan going back to their second nest. Now the trumpeter going a little bit more. Maybe he's got a little feeding to do. We can see the trumpeter right here, and right across the way we got the male Mute Swan still on the nest, and the female Mute Swan to the right. The female trumpeter still on the nest. Those look like mallard ducklings. 8 of them. but I did not see the parent. That could be mom right down there with dad, but I don't think so. Looks like maybe those ducklings are on their own. Sandhill crane coming in for a landing by himself. I believe that's a female coot, and you can see all the swallows. The trumpeter is right over there, the male trumpeter. Sandhill crane is right to the right. Yeah, but the swallows come out with the cold water, the cold air. Going to call it a day today. Female trumpeter is still on the nest on the island. The mute swans are on the east side, northeast side of the pond. And we got the male trumpeter over here. He's okay with the sandhill crane just standing there in the water. But the time lapse is set up again. This time I used my GoPro 8. I'm not sure if the GoPro 7 time lapse is working correctly. But it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Thank you for watching today's video. Hope you have a great day. Okay, good afternoon. May 29th, 2021. Back at the Swan Drama Pond. We got the trumpeter male right out there straight ahead. The female trumpeter's on the nest. I have her nesting started on May 19th, so she's been on that nest for about 10 days now. Then we have the mute swan, the family. I don't know how many cygnets, I just arrived, but they're way over on the east side of the pond, right over there. See a few Canadian geese, see some swallows, red-winged blackbirds. I think that's the Mersenganger family over there of ducks that I see. But yeah, interesting time-lapse video from the other day. Let's see, today is a Saturday, so my time-lapse was running on a Thursday afternoon into the evening. Then also the Friday morning and Friday afternoon. And what happened on Thursday, everything, basically the mute swans have stayed on the east side, northeast side of the pond. That is where they are located now, really. The trumpeter, like, he basically eats, then he goes and chases the mute swans over there. But the thing about the cygnets, well, I see two cygnets. I just see two cygnets. I do believe I see two cygnets. So I will get closer later. But the thing about that is the cygnets play hide and seek. I mean, they stay in the grass. Then like the mom would be like 20-25 feet away. The trumpeter would attack the mom and attack the dad, and then he would try to go look for the cygnets, and he wouldn't be able to find the cygnets. It was really cool. But like say on Thursday evening, the male trumpeter went over there, started to attack, but then the female trumpeter got off the nest and went over there, but she didn't attack. and her and the male just had a few words and bobbing their heads up and down, and they swam back to the island. Same thing happened on Friday the next day. The trumpeter, the male was attacking, the female came over, did a few words, the female trumpeter, and the female and the male just swam back to the island. Then one thing happened, the male trumpeter went back over there, did another attack, and the female also went back over there, and she was in on the attack too. But the thing is, the cygnets are hidden like in the tall grass, so the trumpeters have not been able to find the cygnets yet. And my video shows it pretty good. My time-lapse video. It's actually a little comical, but it's like a total hide-and-seek thing. And the mute swans are doing the best they can, but they're not fighting back. I mean, they're not lunging, they're not biting. There's a seagull that's just flying away too. And now we have the male mute swan. He's moving towards where the trumpeter is. So this is like the situation. You know, the mute swan sees the trumpeter. He's along the south side of the pond right now. And the mute swan is going over there. And he tries to intimidate and keep the trumpeter away from the northeast part of the pond. So it's really interesting, but the thing about these two mute swans, they're not attacking the trumpeter. But that might change too, because like the cygnets, I mean, they do a pretty good job of hiding and staying behind. I mean, then they come out when all the danger is done, and the mom lets them, like, does something to let them come out, like, you know, lets off like a squeal or whatever. But it's really interesting. But you would think like the two swans, like the two mute swans, would gang up on the trumpeter, but nah, the trumpeter takes on both of them, fights them both at the same time. But the mute swans, they don't attack the trumpeter. They just try to survive. So there's the male mute swan straight ahead. We have the trumpeter, he's looking this way. He's more on the south side, but he's like right in the middle. And the mute swan, the female, has got to be somewhere down there right in front of the reeds. And the cygnets, they go hiding in the reeds somewhere. I'm going to try to go around the side here, see if I can get a better angle. There's about 10 gulls flying right in the middle of the woods over there. But yeah, the mute swan, the male is to the left, and the trumpeter's right there to the right. I do not see where the female mute swan is. She's like hidden in the grass somewhere. It's harder for the trumpeter to find her. My time-lapse camera is still standing, but hopefully it's running. And I've also seen the trumpeter fly from that direction right into the northeast part of the pond here. Okay, I see where the female mute swan is. She's right down there. My time lapse is about 20 feet away from her. The camera is actually not going to pick up the footage of where she's at right now. The camera's pointed to a different direction. There's 3 Canadian geese right in front of the trumpeter, about 20 feet. But yeah, I won't be going down there right now because I don't want to disturb the mute swan. We got the male mute swan to the left. But seems, I mean, it's pretty interesting because I don't think this female mute swan and the cygnets, this is probably the farthest that they have traveled. Usually they stick more towards the north, right up that way, the northeast part. They're more familiar, especially with the cygnets, maybe a little bit more familiar to hide. And yesterday, even the cygnets were hiding like right by my camera for a moment. It was really interesting. That was like the last fight before I arrived yesterday afternoon. And that's when the female trumpeter came over. Now we have the female trumpeter. She's in the water right now. It'd be interesting if she picks up on the female mute swan over here. We have the male trumpeter with the male mute swan. We have the female trumpeter. It's interesting that she's on this side of the island. Many times she'd be on the other side too. That's where their usual ramp to get up the island is, on the other side. Female mute swan notices, turns around, looks the other way. These trumpeters might fly in the direction. Here comes the female trumpeter. Here comes the mute swan. Now the question is the male trumpeter coming? No male trumpeter yet. Female trumpeter goes after the male mute swan. I believe this is the female trumpeter. She was sitting on the nest. And the male mute swan, the male trumpeter is just still hanging out over there. Now the trumpeter's got her wings spread right out to the side. She means business. The female mute swan comes out. Now the cygnets are hidden. See, the cygnets are hiding now in that grass. No male trumpeter yet. It's the female taking on both of them. Wow. Now the cygnets are somewhere in that grass. I kind of wish like I had a net and I could catch them. And I could maybe walk them across the pond, and maybe the parents to the other pond right behind me, and the parents could follow me. Because they need to get out of this situation. The male trumpeter is still over there. There goes the female. That I'm almost positive that's the female. She was on the nest. And the male is still far away to the southern part of the pond there. Here comes the male. Here comes the male trumpeter flying in. Male mute swan moving away. Watch him land. The male mute swan not doing anything, trying to intimidate, looking tough. There's a hill that's blocking my view there. I know the female mute swan is on the other side of that hill to the right. It's a little interesting why these trumpeters just don't attack the male. Like just drive them like towards the deepest part of the pond and just attack them. Like I say, it's a waiting game too, because they waited yesterday for a good 10-15 minutes, but those cygnets did not come out of the grass. It was happening a little bit more on the northern part, and the trumpeters were chasing them right over there in that other tall grass. They were chasing the parents. but they didn't know where the cygnets were, and that's what it is right now. They don't know where the cygnets are. But I would think, just speculating, like, why don't they just attack this male right here? I believe the female trumpeter is on the left and the male trumpeter is on the right. All right, the female mute swan, there goes the trumpeter. Trumpeter's got his wings to the side, but they don't see the cygnets are staying in the tall grass right now. They're somewhere in that tall grass. They're hiding. They know to keep in the tall grass. That's the fascinating part of it. It's a game of hide and seek. That's the male mute swan straight ahead. Females to the right, the far right. Trumpeters are thinking about what to do. Both mute swans got their feathers arched up. This is like a week ago, the female trumpeter, it was just the male trumpeter basically doing the attacking, but the past 2 days, the female has joined in, especially today. They are waiting. They're hoping that the cygnets somewhat appear. And if they appear, you know that they're going to go after them. But they did this yesterday too. But there was a little bit more chasing and fighting going on with the parents. Trumpeters look like they're going out a little bit. Now the male mute swan gets behind them. Red-winged blackbird on top of the hill. There was about 6 or 7 times the blackbird sat on my time-lapse camera. Trumpeters, they could maybe just wait it out here. That's what they're trying to do maybe. They might be waiting it out, waiting for those cygnets to make a mistake and come out. There goes the trumpeter after the female again. She's taking a lot of, she's getting away pretty good. There goes the trumpeter after the male. Mute swans are able to escape. Right there, they did not touch them. think with these swans, in order for the swan to like really do some damage, there's the male mute swan tries to look tough and the trumpeter just goes after him. I think they need to get him more in deeper water. Then they can hold the neck of the trumpeter hold the neck of the mute swan underwater. The trumpeter looks, oh, he wants to go after that male mute swan. They're keeping, the female's keeping further away. Here, that's the male. There's the male mute swan. He's like looking tough. He wants to go at the trumpeter right now, but he'll stop short. And he does. He stops short. He comes a little bit closer. Now both of oh, they're in the tall grass over there. So they know, like, both of the trumpeters are going to be on top of that mute swan in the tall grass, the female. Both of them are over there. The male mute swan is going over there too to help out. But you have to think, like, she's getting pounded right now. The male mute swan is still on the shore. The female mute swan is able to get out. She escapes. She's the one leading right now. So you figure she probably took a few blows. Like, I noticed her feathers were kind of marked up a little bit. Mute swan making a little noise, like grunting noise at the trumpeter. He makes the grunting noise and he comes close, but then he goes away. Female mute swan went back to that location. Like I say, I don't know where the cygnets are right now. Maybe when I watch my time lapse later, it will pick up where they started hiding. We got the two trumpeters in the middle right now, and the male mute swan to the left and the female to the right. High drama at this pond. You have to think, like, if the trumpeters like take off to the shoreline, they must see a cygnet. I think the cygnets are actually kind of straight ahead, like in front of the hill, right, hidden over there. That's where my camera is, and that's where I saw them hide for a brief moment yesterday. The male mute swan still trying to intimidate. If I'm the trumpeters, I'm going out maybe another 30 feet or so. 30, I mean, the pond is not that deep. I mean, it has to be like 2 feet deep right there, if that. comes a couple Canadian geese after each other. I could hear the mute swan make out like a call just a few seconds ago, and you wonder if that's a call to like let the cygnets like just stay where you are. That they're communicating some way with their cygnets, like stay where you are. See, the mom mute swan is still like over here to the right. Now we have some Canadian geese chasing after one goose. Trumpeters are just being patient right here. They're hoping that they get the cygnets come out. Today is May 29th. Those cygnets are 3 weeks old today. Mute swan gets a little too close. Now here comes the female mute swan. She tries to look tough, but she just goes away. But you wonder how long the female trumpeter is going to leave her nest. Temperature is 65 degrees, 20 degrees warmer than yesterday. Not expected to get rain until like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday next week. Female got her wings like arched up, and they want these trumpeters to get away from this part of the pond. It's you could hear the mute swan. I could hear the mute swan making noise. So that noise has to be some type of signal with her young. Trumpeter's just hanging out, doing a little feeding. I mean, the female mute swan, she's about 20 feet, 25 feet away from the shore. So those cygnets are in the reeds somewhere. There goes the trumpeter back at the mute swan. There goes the other trumpeter. They got her corner again. And those cygnets, you would think like they might come out. They hear wings flapping, they hear noises. But no, they just stay in the grass. This has been going on for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Not sure if they're heading back to the nest, but if I'm the male trumpeter, I just hang back, let the female trumpeter go back to the nest. The cygnets have to be this way, like on the eastern side. They're not like on the western side over there. See, this is where they should go after the male, right here. A little bit deeper where they're going. The Mute Swan strategy is paying off right now. I mean, the cygnets hiding. I mean, they've been under attack the past few days on the northeastern part of the pond. Interesting, when the female first came over here, the trumpeter flew in. It took a number of minutes before the male trumpeter flew over. I mean, the male Mute Swan was flying over too, way before the male trumpeter came. So I'm not sure about their game plan. It's not that good. I mean, they should have driven this pair of Mute Swans out a long time ago. Back in April. Female just let out like another grunt, another call. She's communicating like something to those cygnets, like stay put, don't move. I mean, you can see her right there. She's about like 25 feet, 20 some feet away from the shore. If she's making a grunt or like a call for them to come, they'd be coming out. But they're hunkered down somewhere. But the trumpeters are trying to be patient. Looks like the seagulls flew away. It's a little windy today too. See a couple swallows. Mute Swans are saying to the trumpeters, hey, there's no cygnets here, move away. But both trumpeters look like they're doing a little eating. The one trumpeter turns around, Mute Swan came a little too close. I mean, I mentioned before, I mean, the other pond is across the street in that direction right over there. It's about less than a mile away, but I kind of wish like I could catch the cygnets and I could just like walk, and I have like a little path through here because I've been walking to set up my time-lapse camera, and have the two mute swans would probably attack me, but maybe they would walk after me, and I can walk across the street and do the distance and just drop them off in the other pond. I think that will be a better outcome than what's going to come. Still have the trumpeters waiting it out right there. No sign of the cygnets. It has to be like over 20 minutes plus that this attack has been going on. And that's the female mute swan right there to the right, straight ahead. Those are some smart cygnets, because like you would think they'd be right behind mom, but they know what to do. I was watching my videos from earlier, like about 10 days ago, when the action was on the other side of the pond over by the island. At that time, the cygnets were with their mom, and the trumpeters were nearby. They could have attacked like any time, but they didn't do it. But now, since they're nesting, the behavior has changed. We see the daily attacks. There's the female mute swan. She lets out like another grunt. Another grunt. She's swimming like where I think the cygnets are. Trumpeters are feeding right now. I don't expect to see the cygnets right now. She's looking for them, maybe. It's gonna be harder when she gets behind that hill. I'll be checking my time lapse. Hopefully it's working correctly. Maybe the cygnets were just right at where my camera is located. They hid like right where my camera was located yesterday, just for a brief moment. Now the mom is like in the tall grass right down there. right by the hill. The mom mute swan is right to the right there. It's not a good spot for her actually, because if the trumpeters flew in right there, it's hard for her to climb up. It's kind of like a little bit of a ledge with the hill being right there. So the trumpeters could fly right in and get a good hold of her right now if they wanted to. Yeah, those cygnets are probably hiding right where my camera is, right down there. They're probably right at the base of my camera. Trumpeter is moving more towards the middle of the pond, further away from the female mute swan. Maybe this attack is coming to a close for right now. Yeah, right where the mute swan, the female, straight ahead, right there, the two cygnets, that's where they were hiding. We have the male mute swan straight ahead at the second nest. And we have the two trumpeters closer to the island. But right now, I mean, the trumpeters should just fly right over to where the female is, but the trumpeters, they did not see the cygnets. The female is blocking the view right now. The cygnets are out. They're right on the edge of the shore. But that spot right there, trumpeters could fly right in and they might be able to get the cygnets, but they don't see the cygnets because the mom is blocking the view right now too. So that's, my camera is not really, I don't think my camera's, the angle is not really picking up the mom mute swan right now. But just fascinating. It's a time game. These mute swans survived. But all the fighting was going on more like 100 feet away, further north. And the cygnets were right over there. Good location for them, but not right now. I mean, because like if the trumpeter flew in, he could probably get those cygnets, because like I say, there's kind of like a ledge to the hill, and it'd be hard for them to get up that ledge. But I see both cygnets down there. Mom is fixing her feathers. We have the male trumpeter like on the edge of the woods in the pond. You can still see the female trumpeter, I mean the female mute swan, but I don't think you can see the cygnets behind her. And they're just staying like right on the shore there. Well, the trumpeter just got back into the water here. There's the male mute swan. The cygnets were about 10 feet away from the mom, and when she noticed the trumpeter came back into the water, she went right closer to the cygnets. They're over on the east side of the pond. One thing about these mute swans, they're the ones that get in the water first in the morning. The trumpeters come in, like into the water like later on. They must be tired. Cause like basically I don't see them like on the time lapse. I see the trumpeter, he like takes rest over on the island, sleeps on the island. But the mute swan, a little different. They're always on the lookout for this guy, for the danger. Okay, so the mom is basically, the two cygnets are right behind the mom. She's right straight ahead. To the left is the male mute swan. I don't like that location where she's at right now. Like I say, there's like a ledge. So it'll be harder for the cygnets to move. The trumpeter is like in the woods over there on the other side of the woods, eating in the pond. So it's another like tense situation for these mute swans. The male mute swan is swimming out. Trumpeter is still far away. He's just basically eating. He's on the other side of the woods in the middle of the pond there. Mom's doing a good job blocking the cygnets from any type of view. Well, the trumpeter is just feeding over there. He really hasn't moved too much. He's on the other side of the woods in the pond there. The male mute swan is right there, and the female is over there with the two cygnets. Just trying to determine the depth of this water. This is the Merciganger down there with her family of 8. It's pretty cool. Good amount of swallows right now. Must be about 20 of them flying around the pond. There's the trumpeter right over there on the edge of the woods. As I mentioned before about the death of this pond dried up probably back in 2013. We had a really dry summer. The death of this pond can't be more than 3 feet in some locations, I think. You can see the water looks shallow out there in certain spots. So if like the trumpeter wants to attack the mute and drown them, I would think he would have to find a spot that's more than 2.5 feet, I would imagine. Not sure if it can kill like the adult mute swan like on the shore. Can take care of the cygnets, but looks like the female trumpeter, the female mute swan has gone into hiding over there. You can't like really see her that well in the tall grass. She might be taking a nap. The trumpeter is just resting on a log in the middle of the woods there. He needs like the element of surprise. See, earlier the mutes were ready for the trumpeters. they had the cygnets like hidden. So when the female trumpeter flew over on the first attack, the mom mute swan can move away from the cygnets, and they were hidden. The cygnets knew to stay, and the mom mute swan can fight the trumpeter or lead the trumpeter away from them. But right now, this male trumpeter, he needs to fly into that area with the mute swans. He needs that element of surprise. Because before, like during that the fight, they can't find the cygnets. The cygnets weren't moving for over 25 minutes. So the trumpeter has to do the element of surprise. Get off the log and start to fly in. So this would be a great opportunity for the trumpeter. The two mute swans are right down here at the east end of the pond. The cygnets are in the water, but the trumpeter, he's in the middle of the woods on top of a log, just preening himself. He needs the element of surprise. Earlier during that initial fight, when the female trumpeter flew across the pond, it was already, the cygnets were already hiding. She had no idea where they were, because the mom, she was over there. She was far away from the cygnets, which were closer to that hill. The trumpeters had no clue where the cygnets were. So then when the male trumpeter came over too, he also did not know where they were. And those cygnets, they did a good job of just staying and hiding. But right now, you have them out somewhat in the open. I mean, they're 5 feet, 6 feet offshore. But that trumpeter needs to fly in and take his chances. Okay, so now the trumpeter is back in the water. The male mute swan is coming out. The female is getting to her position to hide the cygnets. This is where the trumpeter needs to take off. I don't know what he's waiting for, but he needs to fly in there. Moving up slowly is not going to do it. But I don't like the position where the mom puts the cygnets. Like I say, it's right next to that hill and there's an incline. But the trumpeter, in order to take advantage of that, he needs to fly in. He's slowly moving in that direction here. The male mute swan is staying close to the female. Trumpeter is getting out of the woods now. He is going against the wind, if that makes any difference. It'd be tougher for him to fly right. I mean, he should take off right now. Here comes the male mute swan. Wings are arched. Trumpeter just goes down for some food and water. Mom mute swan is right in front of my camera on my time lapse. Some of that tall grass there is like matted down. The cygnets actually, I mean, if they could make it up to the ledge up there, but I don't know, that'd be a little difficult. at the male mute swan. He's moving out there towards the trumpeter, trying to intimidate. I can still see one of the cygnets, so they're not hidden in the grass. Male mute swan getting closer now. Trumpeter just looks up at him, goes back to eating. Mute swan stops about 9 feet in front of the trumpeter and turns around. Wings are fully arched. Probably hard to tell with the camera, but she's trapping herself over there, the mute swan with the two cygnets. Like to the right of her, it comes out a little bit, the land, and also to the left of her, the land comes out a little bit, like a kind of like a U shape. Then behind her, I know it's like tall grass, and I know the cygnets have hidden there before, but there is like a incline with the hill being there too. So it's kind of like a corner almost. I would like to see her on the other side of the hill. In that area there's a little bit more open space, and I think the cygnets can hide in the grass over there just as well, and there's not that incline. So the trumpeter, I mean, if he was smart right now, he'd come flying in, because that could be like a good trap right there. That U-shaped land with the pond. The female mute swan, she's not eating, she's just looking in the direction of the trumpeter. She looks a little tired. The cygnets could be sleeping, and the two males out there, the mute swan and the trumpeter, are just eating. Yeah, I would have to say that mute swan, the female, she's tired. The two cygnets look like they're sleeping. Trumpeter edging his way closer this way. He needs to fly in right now. I mean, be the element of surprise, but he's just taking his time, not sure about his strategy. I've seen him in a time-lapse video where he just flies in and attacks, so he's done it before. This is a good opportunity. The trumpeter has been swimming back towards the island, towards the top of the island. Doesn't look like he's in the mood to attack right now. It's getting around 5:30. Beautiful day. Mom mute swan is still right guarding the cygnets. I would have to think she doesn't get much sleep at all during the day. And there's the mom with the two cygnets. Seems to be pretty safe right now. The trumpeter is way back at the top of the island, the north end of the island. Looks like he's just gonna relax there. The male mute swan is like in the middle of the pond, But wow, interesting behavior. Okay, that worked out very well. I waited for the trumpeter to go back onto the island. The mom Mute Swan was already out with the 2 cygnets doing some feeding, and I was able to go to the time-lapse camera, change the SD card and the battery, and put it in a new one. So I have another time-lapse running. The one I did take some video. I wasn't talking or anything, but the one cygnet at the end, he looks like a little thinner than the other cygnet. So I'll have to see in the video how it looks. But he was the one at the end, at the back. He was the injured one. So I might check out him right now. I can get a little bit of a close-up right here and see how he's doing. And the dad Mute Swan, he's over by the second nest. Yeah, I will have to still say that the one cygnet probably still has an injured foot. He's looking like he's swimming with like 1 foot. It's kind of hard to tell, but he does look like he's still injured. And there's the trumpeter at the top of the island. Unlike the Mute Swan, he likes to stand on the shore. The Mute Swan likes to be right in the water. The trumpeter likes to get up on the shore. He's sleeping with 1 leg. I'm still surprised like he doesn't attack a little bit more, but I will have to check the time lapse. The mom Mute Swan is still feeding way down there. The dad was on the second nest. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Okay, good afternoon. May 30th, 2021. Back at the Swan Drama Pond. It's about 3:15 in the afternoon. Temperature is like 68 degrees, 69 degrees, nice and sunny. The 2 trumpeters are on the island. Looks like the male trumpeter is sleeping and the female is on the nest. Then way out there, I do see the female swan, the female Mute Swan, and I do see the 2 cygnets right on the east side of the pond there. So they're surviving. I imagine the male Mute Swan is somewhat like maybe on the second nest or the third nest that they created. But it gives me time to do a little bit of the exercise. Don't see any swallows right now. Do see 4 Canadian geese in the water. Don't see any of the ducks right now either, but I'm sure we'll see something later. But thank you for watching. Okay, just returned from like a 40-minute walk. Looks like the male trumpeter has gotten back into the water. The male mute swan is over on, I call that like the third nest that they built. The second is to the left. The original was straight ahead. Then the female mute swan, she's kind of hard to see right now, but she's right over by the hill, and she's to the right of the hill, hidden in some tall grass with the 2 cygnets. Now today is Sunday, so I had my time lapse running from Friday afternoon until Saturday afternoon. And some interesting things about the time lapse. Seems like these trumpeters have attacked the mute swan family at least 2 to 4 times a day. I mean, that's the range. The past week has been like that. And on, I believe it was Saturday morning, both trumpeters again attacked the family. But the problem is, the cygnets are getting smart. They're hiding in the grass, and they're hiding, and the trumpeters cannot find them and everything. And I mean, they're attacking the parents, then they're waiting around to see if they can see the cygnets. Then when I was here yesterday and I was able to see the attack live with my GoPro 9 here, it was mainly the female. She was the one that came flying from the island area and started the attack. Now here comes the male trumpeter. See, he's looking probably to, he's going in that direction. He's going to the east. The male mute swan, his head pops up. Momentarily, he should be entering the water right pretty soon. Now, I can't see the female mute swan. She's hidden. But if the trumpeter, yeah, now there's the female mute swan. She comes out, and there's the 2 cygnets. Now the trumpeter, he should just fly. He should just take off right now. That would be like the element of surprise right there. He's like moving a little forward. He's swimming faster is what I meant to say. Now there's mom. The two cygnets are staying a little bit behind mom. They're about 15 feet behind, 20 feet behind mom. So that must, I mean, they must feel comfortable, like they're gonna hide in the reeds right there. But the male mute swan has not gotten off the nest yet into the water. I'm a little surprised. I mean, but here he comes. He sees the trumpeter probably fully now, clearly. So here comes the male mute swan in the water. And there goes the trumpeter. Like I say, that's the element of surprise right there. He's flying right at the female. The female's going away. Male mute swan comes in, but he does not land on the trumpeter. He lands right before the trumpeter. Now the cygnets are to the right. They're like 30 feet to the right. So the trumpeter is just like, maybe he's not paying attention to the cygnets. Maybe he didn't see them. But I would have gone for the cygnets if I were him. Now he goes after the male mute swan. He's got a hold of the male mute swan from behind. The female is to the right. The male mute swan is to the left. Now the trumpeter's got his wings out to the side. As I mentioned before, when he puts his wings out to the side, he's angry. That's how the trumpeter shows anger, when his wings are to the side. The mute swan, they arch their wings, but the trumpeter, he still has his wings to the side. Sorry for the camera angle being so far away. But this is some action right now. He just 5 minutes ago just got off the island and went in for the attack. But see, now the family is smart. I mean, they're away. They're far away from where those cygnets are. And I don't think the trumpeter can really do damage to these mute swans and being in such shallow water right by the shore. Now he goes after the male mute swan. Male mute swan just gets away, but he's caught. Male mute swan is caught. Female trumpeter is probably on the nest right now. No sign of her. Now he goes after the female mute swan. Chases her in the tall grass, the reeds. Have to move over this way. Cygnets are hiding really well. Goes after the female mute swan. Female mute swan goes after her again. Now he's right on top. Oh, the male came in. The male mute swan came in, but then the trumpeter lunged right at him. See, like, now this is interesting. His wings are spread out. The trumpeter's wings are spread out. He means some business right now. Well, it's his duty to drive these mute swans out of this pond. I anticipate today's May 30th. Around June 22nd, June 23rd, those trumpeter eggs should be hatching. Now he goes after the male mute swan. Female is staying by the tall grass. Gets a hold of the male mute swan again at the rear. He was able to get free. No sign of the cygnets. They are well hidden. Trumpeter shakes the water, stomps the water. That's the male mute swan. The female is behind over by the tall grass, and the male trumpeter is in between them. My time-lapse camera is picking up this action right there. The Murciganger and her ducklings are right down there. Female mute swan, she's just staying right in the tall grass, right on the edge of the water. Male mute swan's got his wings arched. It's a standoff right now, but I'm surprised the female's mute swan has not moved. That looks like a mallard duck down there with two ducklings, I do believe. I've seen like more than two ducklings, so hopefully they're just around at another spot somewhere else. Trumpeter is in a like a standstill position. He's thinking about what to do, what his strategy is. I was watching some older videos a couple weeks ago when the mute swans were closer to the island over there with their cygnets, and the trumpeters weren't that far away from them. They were like basically 40 feet away, 50 feet away at different times. They could have easily attacked the family, but they never did. They never did. Like, I mean, the attacks have been happening for like a little over a week now. Now the trumpeter goes after the female. Female gets away in the tall grass there, able to escape. But I think, like, why didn't the trumpeters, like a couple weeks ago, they should have taken care of the cygnets then. Trumpeter chasing that. Now the trumpeter's in the grass with the female. Out of my view right now, cannot see. The male mute swan goes to help out. Stops right before the edge. Trumpeter's in the grass. The male mute swan also goes in the grass. All three are in the grass. Tight corridor. I can see, you can see, I can see some stuff going. Trumpeter's got, he's biting one of them. Have to give it up for this male. This is a longer attack than usual. But boy, something, I mean, like, you could tell he was angry. I've seen him more than once put his wings to the side. When I watch him in the wintertime at Gallup Park and at the Huron River, and I see trumpeters fight each other, when they put their wings to the side, they mean business. Last winter, I mean, these trumpeters were all fighting one another, and the mute swan was like arched his wings, but when the fighting started, the mute swan just like wings went back to normal. He did not want any of it. And the trumpeters just basically picked on each other. That mute swan, the male mute swan, teases the trumpeter. He'll turn around and try like tease him, intimidate him. That must be the female mute swan coming out finally. He's just, his strategy is to drive these parents. But it's remarkable. I mean, this has been going on for more than 15 minutes. And the mute swans have not, I mean, the mute cygnets, no sign of them. Female is going in the different direction of where her cygnets are, which is smart. She's going to the left. Trumpeter has no clue the cygnets are to the far right, right by the island, I mean, right by the hill. Such a clear, sunny day. Those cygnets came out of the tall grass. You'd be able to see them. It's like the mom mute swan is trying to like say, hey, they're over here, but they're not. Male mute swan has his wings arched up, trying to intimidate the trumpeter. If I'm the male trumpeter, I just hang out down here for the next hour. Do my feeding. Whoa. Now the trumpeter goes after the mute swan again. If I'm this trumpeter, I just hang out down here. How long could those mute swan cygnets hide? Mom is going back towards the hill where they are. Don't know if that's a smart decision, but if I'm that trumpeter, I'm just hanging out right there. Male mute swan trying to look big and tough. Stretches out and does a couple grunts. Mom is moving back towards where the cygnets are, but she stops. She's still about 35 feet away from them. They're on the other side of the hill. Like yesterday, I could hear her call and make noises. And she's probably doing that right now. Those noises telling the cygnets to hold steady, don't come out. Trumpeter looking in that direction. He's going to go after the mom. There he goes. He goes back after the female mute swan. She drives back that way. Two against one. Oh, we got the female trumpeter. She's in the water. Is she going to come over? She's right on the north side of the woods. She's probably keeping an eye out for those cygnets. That male trumpeter, he's been, like I say, been doing a good job. But the mute swans are also holding their ground. Female trumpeter slowly coming in this direction. I still harping back to that fight a couple weeks ago where it was just the male trumpeter and the female was just feeding and never came down to help out her partner. I'm just gonna stay in this direction because I don't want to walk any closer along the grass and have the cygnets come out. So I'll have to stay far away, let them just handle it. Female trumpeter, she's just slowly swimming this way. Is she gonna fly in? Is she gonna take over the attack? There she comes. Male mute swan goes away. The male mute swan backed off from the trumpeter, the male trumpeter. Female trumpeter is on the right hand side, the male is on the left. Male mute swan is right next to them, probably about 10 feet. All that commotion, still no sign of the cygnets. Now this has happened in the time lapse before. The female trumpeter has come over twice after the male has attacked, and then they just swim back over to the island together and she doesn't attack. So we'll have to see what happens. Yesterday's time lapse showed the male mute swan did a little flying here and there. He was like maybe at one point of the pond over here on the south side, then he flew back to the north side, northeast side. What are they going to do? They look like they're going to head back to the island. I mean, they're swimming out. Wow, there's a duck family over there. A lot of ducklings to the right. See, this is interesting. I mean, that female mute swan, she's far away from her cygnets. Hide and seek. And the trumpeters are looking like they're heading back. Male mute swan starts swimming away. If I'm these trumpeters, I mean, especially if I'm the male trumpeter, I'm just gonna eat down here. Both trumpeters are looking in the direction towards the mute swans, so they might not be leaving, not yet. I have a feeling when they come for the attacks, they just don't see the cygnets. They're hidden. But you would have to think, like, just hang out down here. The cygnets are bound to come out sooner or later. I lost a little track of who's who on the trumpeter. Duck family is swimming by, just swam by, and there goes the trumpeter again. Oh, mute swan barely got away. Now they're close to where the cygnets are. You wonder if the cygnets are going to come out. If the trumpeter can sense, trumpeter's very close. Cygnets are just right on the right hand side by the hill there. See, that mute swan's getting a little bit deeper in water. See, this might be the double attack right here. I don't know if it's strategy. The female, she's way on the other side. It must be strategy that she's just staying right there. Let things play out. She knows that her cygnets aren't going to be coming out. Let these trumpeters use up their energy. I don't want to, I mean, could speculate that she's hurt somehow, but she's just been staying right over on the north side of the pond. These trumpeters, they're just, I mean, they're attacking, but are they truly attacking? Are they out for the kill? Is that the question? They're looking at the swan again. They're looking at the mute swan, one of them. I'm keeping an eye where the cygnets are. There goes the trumpeter again. Both of them. That Mute Swan, I give it up for them. I think that's the female trumpeter right there to the right, and that's the male to the left. All this fighting going on, this tension. It's gonna be interesting to see if the trumpeters have a successful nest. If they're able to successfully hatch. Mute Swan still coming up. Give it up for him. He's trying to intimidate. Trying to intimidate and tease. I think the female Mute Swan is just really cleaning herself. She's been battered the past week or so. Her feathers. See, the trumpeters do eating right there. His head is under the water for 15 seconds right there. The Mute Swan won't do that right now. Huh. Mute Swan, he's trying to intimidate. He's trying to tease. Trumpeter's got him now. Mute Swan got a little too cocky. Another thing with these trumpeters, like I've seen them grab a Mute Swan before and fight them with their wings. I've seen them grab each other before and like by the necks and like whack their wings together against them, pounce on them. But they haven't been able to do that with this Mute Swan right now. But this is the longest attack I've seen both of them doing against the Mute Swan. It's like a few weeks ago when I caught it in the time lapse, the male Mute Swan flew all the way back to the island part on the west side of the pond. I was like, what was going on? He was actually probably getting attacked over here. Really attacked. And then the trumpeter, he ended up going after him later. This has been going on for over 25-30 minutes now. Trumpeters are smart. They're just eating right there. And you think to yourself, like, how long can those cygnets wait? Mute Swan makes a big noise there, trying to look tough. But like the cygnets, they don't react, they don't come out. They could hear that. This has been going on for at least 25-30 minutes plus. Male Mute Swan, he probably knows like he needs to get these trumpeters down and out, like away from this side of the pond. Trumpeters are just relaxing and eating. Now gets the Mute Swan again. Yeah, that Mute Swan's a teaser. Two ducks getting away. The ducks don't even fly, but boy. The Mercenganger group is right below, just watching the action, getting closer together. See, they're both, he's in deeper water, he could be in deeper trouble. See, like right there, Trumpeter, just look what he's got a hold of him, and he's trying to get to the shore because he knows the Trumpeter can drown him. And he's made it to the shore. He's got to be tired, that male Mute Swan. I'm surprised the other Trumpeter doesn't go over there and both tag team on him. They're out of view right now. Other Trumpeter still has not moved. Here comes the female Mute Swan to help out her partner. The other Trumpeter has not done anything. Look, he still has a hold on him. If they keep on going another 100 feet, they're going to disturb the Cygnets. He still has a hold on him. And the Mute Swan is not even biting back. See, that male Mute Swan knew to get to the shore. He's trying to escape. Trumpeter's got a bite on him. That's got to be tired. See, now if they get a little bit closer, they're going to disturb the Cygnets. That's where Mom is, right there. But no, they stopped. The Mute Swan trying to get away from the grip of the Trumpeter. If they go a little bit more, those Cygnets they're going right where the Cygnets, I believe, are hiding. Maybe the mom is telling them to move along. They're going right by my time-lapse camera. That Trumpeter still has a hold on him. Lets go of him right there. But no, gets right back on him. And the other Trumpeter is just slowly moving in, doing nothing. Letting the male, I imagine that's the male Trumpeter. And here comes, here comes the other Trumpeter. Who's he going to go after? The female Mute Swan. Wings are to the side for the Trumpeter. That Mute Swan, that male Mute Swan was fortunate to get to the side of the pond. I believe that this happens like in where they were, you know, they can drown them. Red-winged blackbird flying by. That's the female Trumpeter right there, I believe. The male Trumpeter on the right taking a little break. And still the Cygnets, no sign of those Cygnets. I can usually walk over on the hill over there on the right hand side. There's a grass path, but I'll just stay here because I don't want to disturb any of the action going on. But you have to think too, like what's it, 69 degrees out, but the female's been away from the nest. But this is the longest attack I've seen so far. Give it up for the male Mute Swan, looking for more. He's trying to intimidate again. He's keeping a little further back than what he was like 10 minutes ago. Those cygnets are smart. They just stay hidden. But if I'm the male trumpeter, I stay back. Let the female go back to the nest and just stay back. But these mute swans, I mean, it's just, well, I've been saying this for a while, but it's just a matter of time that they're going to be driven out. Now the trumpeter is going to go back to the island, or are they going to stay right there? I lost track on which trumpeter is which. The female mute swan is swimming back to like where the cygnets are. You could hear her. You could hear her make a call. I can see movement. I saw one movement in the grass there. I could see a little movement of white. Right in front of my, I can see the cygnet. I can see one of them, barely. They're right in front of my time-lapse camera. And yesterday I pointed my time-lapse a little bit more down, for I can see in the front a little bit more instead. So I can see the cygnet. I can see one of them. Now the two trumpeters are feeding right now. The mom is, I can still make out that is one cygnet. I don't think the trumpeters can see him. But the cygnet is like about, the female mute swan, the cygnet is about 9 feet behind her to the left. Trumpeters need to be aware of that and fly over there. Yep, I could see the cygnet move just a little bit. I have a swallow flying around out there. Couple swallows. It was funny with that male mute swan. He's trying to tease and intimidate, and he got a little too close. But definitely the tension has picked up, and the fighting for the trumpeters, the aggression. Yeah, I can see one of the cygnets. I mean, it's just a matter of the view of the trumpeter. They're eating right now. I don't know why they don't eat a little closer. They know, like, the mute swans hang out down there. Right now, both of the trumpeters are heading back towards the island. The dad mute swan is straight ahead, and the mama with the two cygnets, I could see them come out briefly a little bit more. But boy, that was something. I imagine this is just going to intensify more, where both trumpeters are going to attack and pick on one. But one would think they'd be able to see the mom and the cygnets. Looks like the female trumpeter is heading back to the island. The male has stopped and doing some feeding right there. So he might wait back a little bit. Now here comes the mom's, like, coming out with her two cygnets. But no, she comes out and the cygnets stay right there. Smart, because the trumpeter could still fly right over. But no, the cygnets stay right there. Mom mute swan is going towards the direction of her partner, and the cygnets are staying put right there. Now when the trumpeter, when he was on top of that male mute swan, he must have came really close to, like, the cygnets. I mean, that's where they've been, like, hiding during the whole mayhem. We got the female trumpeter. She stopped right at the top of the island doing some preening. The male is still eating. The female mute swan is heading back towards her cygnets. So the female is back on her nest, and that is the male trumpeter right there. He likes to relax on that part of the island. On the north part, he likes to be right on the slope, right under the tree. But this is a good time for me to go and change the time lapse. You can see the feathers on the female mute swan, a little rattled. The cygnets are looking pretty good for being 22 days old, still surviving at the Swan Drama Pond. Male mute swan is on the third nest over there. Both of the trumpeters are on the island. Well, the male trumpeter is still sleeping on the island there. The male mute swan is down on his nest, and the female mute swan is like in the grass with the two cygnets. Another dramatic day today at the swan drama pond. I was just thinking, like 22 days ago the cygnets were born right on this nest over here, and the trumpeters at 3 different times were right at the base of the nest within an hour. They were just feet away from the cygnets, but they did nothing. And here they are spending time and energy chasing the adult mute swans around now, while they should be nesting. But I also wasn't here like in March, when probably the mute swans were starting their nest building, and the trumpeters, not sure if they showed up late, but I saw them here in April 19th, but from my understanding, March 25th, the mutes started to nest. But I want to thank you for watching the video today. Hope you have a great day.